Oh, that's why that's not working. Sorry about that, guys. My phone fell out of its little holder thing, so I had to put it back up. So today we are working on my mom's Christmas gift. I have put my phone in crooked, but hold on, let me fix it. Finicky little bugger. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so I learned to knit, as everyone knows now. I'm not very good at it. I only made 2 things, which are still in working progress. This one I'm waiting for more yarn. This is my first knitted scarf. I'm working on a shawl for myself, but it's kind of like a side thing with some yarn I got from Temu. And I just did a regular knit stitch. I taught myself these because I tried to watch some tutorials, but they keep doing the slingshot method, and I only know the method my grandma taught me, which is a simple knit stitch. And I don't know how to do a slingshot method, and she always told me never use your tail as a working yarn or to make a row. So I don't know, there are new methods they come out. This slingshot method uses your tail to make a row, and I've watched her knit for years, and I know that's not right. Last thing you want is for your project to come unraveled, and that's just my personal opinion. Maybe it doesn't come unraveled, but I've seen her struggle through knitting and crocheting that I don't really feel comfortable doing that. So maybe at the end, when we're done working on this, I'll show you the normal way to cast onto your knitting needle. So this is my scarf I'm working on. You can see there's no knitting needles attached. What we did was, we can't undo it right now. We took this ball of yarn and we took a piece of string and brought it right through the row to hold it in place until my new skein of yarn comes so I could finish up this project. So I can't show it to you, but as you can see, it does have a beautiful knit stitch pattern, and that's its tail. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't lose the tail. And then this is a knitted towel, which we are going to need to go get my crochet bag. I don't have a knitting bag, and my knitting needles, because we're probably going to make another one. So give me a minute, I'll be right back. And we also need my sewing box and a button. Okay, I lied, I don't need my crochet bag. I forgot that my mom bought me this really cool knitting needle set. This is for small projects or anything that's 10 inches. Anything bigger than 10 inches, they will not fit on knitting needles. I have so tried to make a blanket out of this. It does. Oh, there's a pocket there. I had no idea. That's so cool. Okay, I've tried to do that, but it doesn't work. You're going to need the wired knitting needles to make a full-size Afghan, which is in the mail. I can't wait till they arrive. But in the meantime, I have this. I love it. I love this bag that it came in, and this set was only $25. So I'll probably put a link in the YouTube video below of this set after Christmas, though, because I can't go in order history because of Christmas. But this is my knitting needle set, which I just got last week. It only took me like a day to knit this up, so it's pretty easy to make. So we're going to get out our darling needle, which is my little plastic needle, totally cute. And I'm going to need the little tiny thin one. I would like to try these, but I don't see a thin one in there, and that looks a little too big. I don't even know how to use this yet. Tried to watch a lot of videos to see what are these, but no one talks about them, so I figured I'll fill y'all in. Oh, that's just a dream catcher moving around. Okay. Alright, so we got another little tiny needle, which my knitting needle, and we're going to cast this off, and I will show you guys how to cast off when you want to pull something together. So this is not a normal cast off for a crochet project, I mean a knitting project. Doing both of them makes it like you get everything all mixed up because this is slash crochet slash knitting because I got it out of this book. Hold on. This is where I got my ideas. This is where my brainstorming happens. Okay, so in this handy dandy book, in here is marked a kitchen towel somewhere. I don't know which tab it was or if I had a tab. No, that's cotton candy blanket. There's the bag. Should be a towel. That's purse, sandals, shawls. Okay, there's a lot in this book. Okay, guys. Anyways, there's a crocheted towel in here somewhere. They have a lot of stuff because this is called the Stitch book. So it's made out of leftovers, and I know it's in here somewhere. Might be in the front. Okay, how many patterns are in this thing? And what did they name it? Alright, I didn't have it marked. It's in here some. Oh, found it. Wrong marker. Alright, it's under miscellaneous. My bad, guys. So, this is the whoopsies, crochet towel that I was looking at, but I didn't like the big holes you see in the picture. I really didn't like that because like it doesn't absorb water whenever I made one, and I really wasn't happy with the results, and I was like, dang, I wish I could get the yarn closer together. And I've tried everything. So I came up with a solution since I'm learning how to knit. Combine the patterns. So what we're gonna do is take knitting and crocheting and combine them. So we've already got the towel basic knitted. We've got our little handle wrap here, and then I have a button, which I need to make sure that this is fastened off really well. Okay, I'm going to take some thread and just tighten that up. Then I have some fabric, which we're going to attach a button to this, and we're going to have a little button for it to close off on, which is what this little hole is. So, now it's time to unravel our project. All this yarn is left over to tie off with, and I'm going to have to move all of this and tilt you guys down. Alright, so we're going to take this yarn we have right here, and we have our knitting needle stopper on so it doesn't go anywhere, and this is 16 inches. The pattern calls for 13, not including the top piece, but when we scrunch it together like this, you can see right here you lose 3 inches in length, so you have to add an extra 3. My dad was really cool, helped me figure out why it came out so short, because I had to take this apart and pick it back up and add the extra 3 inches. Well, I ended up adding 6 because I had to take 3 inches out to fix my mistake. So we're going to get all of our yarn up over here, and then we're going to double it. And we're going to try our best to get this doubled yarn through the back end of our needle, which I use my fingernails to stick it through. You want to have a nice little tail there. And we're going to tie a knot at this very beginning so that we don't lose, which is not going to be easy to do by any means, by the way. We don't want to lose that stitch, which you will lose it if you're not careful. Alright, there we go. Not required. Oh, get the little piece of yarn out of there. Alright, don't want to tie it too tight though, because you gotta get your needle back through. So this is something I just came up with on the fly because I'm like, I can't find a knitted towel. I don't have a pattern, and I really want to make her one for Christmas. My boyfriend bought me this beautiful yarn. It matches our like rustic theme of the house. I don't like the crochet version at all. It's beautiful, but not practical. We want practical. So, and it didn't look right with this yarn that I wanted to use. So we're going to go through the bottom half of this. I don't know if you guys can see it because my buttons are in the way. See where all of these little loops are? We're going to go in between that and the hook, and we're just going to pull down and get our needle right through here. And I can't put my camera over here or over here because I'm just going to knock it off with my arms. So sorry if you're not getting a good view, but you tug on the yarn with your fingers, pull it down, and we're just going to slide right on through all of this and make sure that we don't lose the end of our yarn. When you run out of room on your needle, just pop up, and we're just going to let the pull that off. Get your extra yarn out of the way. We're going to scrunch this forward carefully. Yes, it just went in my mouth. It's for my family. It'll be fine. Okay, so where your string is, you want to hold this as you're bringing it forward because now it's coming off the knitting needle. And now that is, I forgot it was a dream catcher. Okay, so now we want to pull through our excess yarn as far as we can before we lose it, and that seems that's going to be where it's going to stop at. So we're just going to tie a knot here. And tie them together so that they can't really go through there, so we don't lose our work, which we are losing on this end. This is the hard part. I should have put the stopper back on. Okay, we got our stopper back on. These stoppers are really easy to lose. So you're going to tie a knot here so we don't lose this end of the work. Give that a nice good tug, okay? And then take this through because you have a stitch here that's trying to escape. Pull that through there. And then tie one more knot because no one's going to even know that this exists. No, I lied. I need some scissors. We need scissors, my friend. Okay, so we're going to kind of like do a 3-knot system. So one knot here, and one knot here. And now we know that we're not going to lose our project. And trust me, in the end, you won't even know that's there. Alright, it's probably not traditional, probably not the way you normally do it, but hey, look. We're making our own stuff, okay? With no pattern, no layout. We're just winging it. We don't have time for that. Been looking high and low for patterns. I can't find any. And if you want them, you gotta pay an arm and a leg. I don't have money for that either. Or you gotta pay for these new classes they have out on the internet. Which looks great, Skillshare. It looks wonderful, but this girl don't have the skills that she wants to share on Skillshare because I'd be broke. Well, I'm not exactly broke, but that's a lot of money. Like, who has like $200 a month to spend on online classes that like you're just gonna use a few times? I don't see the point in that. You know how much money I could spend in yarn? So most of the stuff I either learned because I saw my grandmother do it, or I learned it just out of just doing it and just going, you know what, we're just gonna go for it. So we're getting our work onto our string now. We've only got a few left. We can do it. So I'll do it like this so you guys can see. We're pulling. Is that string snapping there? Oh, it's just a little piece of fuzz I picked up. Whew, thank goodness. Okay, so we're going to give our knitting needle a little snug with our finger. We're pulling it upward, and our needle goes through as we pull up. Okay, and now you see the needles through the yarn, through the loops. You want to go through the bottom. Pull that through there. there's that. Pull through your excess yarn. Put those together. Now we're going to do it the easy way for me so I can see it. Alright, now our needle is free. We're going to pull through all the yarn. Now, this is when it gets a little tricky. We need this to scrunch perfectly. So we're going to have our 2 strings. Got a doweling needle over here. We can take that off for now. And we're going to pull this baby tight all the way. Alright. Now it's nice and tight, nice and scrunched, because it's a hand towel. Going to now take our 3 pieces of yarn and we're going to tie a knot, and we want to use this. Make sure that we have all 3. Bring our double loop through because you don't want to run out of string. Pull that nice and tight. Make sure you're not going anywhere. Pull it the other way. It'll make it through the wash. We're going to trim this little bit. No, we're not. We're going to leave that there. Now we're going to take our doweling needle, put this thing back on. Now we're going to try and make it look pretty. Okay, so we got this ugly little bit over here. Not going to happen. It's not going to hold through the wash. So this is how we're going to fix it. We want to go. By the way, that noise is my foot hitting something. I have like a birdhouse under my foot, so yeah. Gonna go through. Make sure that you got your little tails. We're gonna go through again. And we're basically gonna wrap this thing pretty good. And you know, if you get stuck on your own yarn, it's perfectly fine. And we're just gonna keep wrapping this bad boy until we feel like it looks good, isn't gonna come unraveled, because we gotta protect the weak point, and that is the weak point. If you have long strands like this, trim them a little, toss those out, pull this nice and tight, hold it with your finger, and we're going to direct the yarn where we want it to go. This will also give us something to sew our button onto. Alright, now we got our little fuzzy sticking out here. We're going to take our little tiny scissors, just trim that off. Okay, trim those back. Now we're going to cover them up with our yarn. And we'll just move the loop where we want it to be, okay? Now those are all nice and covered up. Now we need to sew in this end. Make a nice little knot, because like I said, we want this to be washable. So we're going to make the knot where you're not going to see it. Okay, and now we're going to sew this, just weave this in a little around the edges, just give it some extra support. And then we're going to cut our tail. And yes, that is a very long tail, but it's okay. If my scissors will cut it. Now, you're going to take your string. This is what's left over. We're going to not waste. We're going to use this to attach the next part. If I can avoid it, I don't waste it. Okay, and this looks like it'll be enough. Alright, so we got our little tail to make sure it doesn't fall off. Now I have this little snippet here, which looks like it could use a friend. So we're just going to help it out and give it a friend. We're going to tie a knot here because this is where I had to undo it. Oops, it says that knot did not hold, so we'll double knot it. Alright, that looks like that's not going anywhere. Alright, and now we're just going to cut these two ends because, like I said, we're going to be sewing this. Alright. So now I have that addressed. We want everyone to meet up and be friends, so we're just going to fix this up real quick and just put a few stitches into it because I'm going to be sewing a button on over here. So I don't want... Wait, where's the button going to go? Hold on, let me open up my pattern. Okay, my button will not be going there. It goes on the main circle. So, I'm just going to sew this right onto the project then. Just like this. And we're going to come through the other side to it. So we're going to go under. And sew this one on. So this is just going to make it so it's easier to access the handle. It's not going to be the best looking thing, but I'm sure she'll love it. Alright, now we're going to tie it off nice and straight. And then sew in our tails. I always sew it in, I never cut the strand off until after it's sewn in, because that tail is gonna stop the knot from coming undone. So now we have our tail in. We're gonna cut that right there. And now it is time to sew on our button. So this is our little towel. When I'm done sewing on the button, she'll be able to unclip it from the cabinet and it will look just like this. So now it's time to get out the button. Let's see what we got here. Alright. Now here's my buttons. And we want a matching thread. This is a similar red. Well, that's not exactly the red I would like. That's too bright. Now, here's a nice red. Use that red. And we need a needle, which I have over here. One needle, one button, one thread, and our pair of scissors. Alright, so let's pick out a button for this. I think this button would go nicely, but we gotta make sure that will fit to our buttonhole, which it will not. So try and go for this one. And it fits. Okay, so this is our cute little button. You have been chosen, my friend. I have a little button collection I take off of old clothes and stuff. get the amount of thread we need. Oh, the thread broke. Now we'll check the length. I'm gonna put it on there because it was extra. It looks like it'll do it. I can't see anything. Ah, there we go. I had the wrong glasses on. I had no idea what I was looking at. Alright, now we're going to line up our two ends. And we're going to do our double knot. And they have sewed it on right here. It looks like. She says sew it onto an attachment of handle. So I'm assuming that would be here. I can't sew it on the other way because it won't work. Did my string just snap? Oh, it did. Oh, it very much so did. Okay, so clearly this is a very poor quality of string. And that is going to the trash can. Or trash. Okay, let's go for the next one. This should be a better quality. My grandma gave it to me. From Coats and Clarks. Alright, that's a good amount. Cut that there. Alright, that looks good. Now back to our little button. So yeah, sometimes crocheting and knitting, you need some sewing. I don't mind sewing. I like to sew. So into the button we go. Button on thread. First loop. If you have a rounded needle, it'll definitely work out better. Okay. First loop is in a bad spot. I don't like where that's placed, so I think I'm going to place it over more. There, like that. This isn't like sewing on a normal button, it's actually a lot harder to do. be careful with your needle not to snag your yarn on the very edge. You will rip it. So this is a very delicate process. I prefer the button to come off than the yarn to rip, to be honest with you. So I'm just trying not to snap our yarn. Alright, our button's well sewn on, so we're going to just tie off. Give it a good tug. Now you're going to snip your yarn underneath as close as you can get, your string I mean, and then we're going to snip off the tail. And now we're going to give this a little trim that back a little. Just trim everything up as far back as you can make it without having it come undone. Okay, if it comes undone later, the button, life happens sometimes, so I'll make sure this knot's going to go anywhere. Now it looks pretty intact. I've had them come undone me. Okay, we've got our button. And it goes over like that. And now you have your hanging towel. Christmas old-fashioned style. So that's that. I'm gonna go show my dad. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm probably just gonna end the stream today. Tomorrow I might come back and start the towel from beginning. Maybe we'll make her another one, but she'll already know about this one by the time Christmas comes. It will take a while. But yeah, this is our kitchen towel that we made for my mom for Christmas. I hope she likes it. I'm pretty sure she's gonna love it. You got your little buttons so you can get on and off the handles, the cabinet doors and stuff. And yeah, just don't forget to reinforce that section where your button goes into so it doesn't do that. That's no goods. We'll just get our darling needle and fix this up real quick. We clearly need to add some more thread in this one little section, but totally fixable. Alright, now we got our darling needle on the other end. We're just going to scoop through this stitch right here. Scoop through that one, which then came from that one, which then came from that one. Alright, now we're going to go back up and through. Oh, we don't want to go through the yarn. There we go. Just reinforce that a little since it already came undone. I haven't even given it to her yet. Make sure we have enough room for our button, which now we don't. So I bring it out a little. There we go. And now we need to bring it over. Get off at the button. And over again. Just give it a little extra reinforcement. Tie a knot there. Make sure you have your room for your button. Stick your finger in there. Okay, now we're just gonna weave in our tail. That could have also popped because when I had to unsew it to fix the towel, I might have missed a thread. I'm not too sure, but always good to have reinforcement. Or the tail just popped out and I didn't tie a knot, I did a regular tail, which I have learned is a poor decision. Alright, so our reinforcement's in. Snip that. We're just going to go ahead and double knot this just in case. Because I don't have enough to sew it in like I want to. And this little strap will be easy to fix. I mean, it's just sewn on here if anything were to happen in the future. Alright, so our buttonhole still exists. You can pick really any spot to make the buttonhole. There we go. It's a little snug now. And there we go. We fixed it. So, this is the Christmas hand towel. 100% cotton. This is the spool I used. From Sugar and Cotton is what it was called. I believe I have this a skein around here somewhere with the name on it. But anyways, this is my mom's Christmas gift. We're all done, everyone, and thanks for watching. I need a cup of coffee. Thanks for watching. So this is a knitting and crochet tutorial on how to break all the rules. No, just kidding. Well, technically, I'm not kidding because you're technically not supposed to mix knitting and crocheting. But since I couldn't find what I wanted, I made it myself. Anyways, have a good day. Thank you everyone for watching. Time to go.